Welcome back to Chris Greenhill's Garage. I'm Chris. Not with me today is Chris Jr. He's in school. I come to you today from the inside of our 2007 Ford Taurus that we've named Marshmallow. You've never seen it before because why would you? It's a Ford Taurus. Why would you care? It's white on the outside. It's beige on the inside. That's the most exciting thing about it. The other day, Chris Jr. was driving it around. He drove it for the night. And he and his friends went out, and he came home and said, "Hey, Dad, the low brake fluid light is on." He put some brake fluid in it. I drove it again. I said, "Dad, the brake fluid light is on, and now the brakes aren't working very well." I came out to check it, and I found the brake reservoir completely empty. I asked him when the last time he put brake fluid in it was, and he said, the day before. That's a problem. All under the car, and the rear passenger side wheel, the inside of the wheel, soaked in brake fluid. And that's when I realized this thing has rear drum brakes. God, I hate drum brakes. Everybody hates drum brakes. Drum brakes should have gone away in the 80s, but they didn't. I had a 2017 car that still had drum brakes on the rear. They shouldn't be a thing, but they are. Unfortunately, Junior isn't here to do this for me, so I'm going to have to suffer through drum brakes. I just went ahead and ordered a wheel cylinder for this thing, and it came in, so I'm going to get it jacked up and get started and hope and pray it's a brake cylinder, wheel cylinder, whatever. Here's the current brake situation. All the way to the floor instantly. It will barely hold the car in park at all. That is what's left in our brake master cylinder. And it isn't showing up on camera real well, but the back of that tire was soaking wet the other day after we refilled the brakes and tried to use them. God, I hate front wheel drive cars. There is nowhere to jack this up, but right here under this rear wishbone or whatever, everything else is just one gigantic floor pan with no jack points at all. We haven't had this car all that long, and I'm sure that rust won't be a problem at all. Ooh, not sure if it'll show up on camera, but yeah, whole drum soaked. It begins already. Oh, dear Jesus. Gotta get the hammer. If you're not sure what's going on, this is the steel or cast iron drum that has kind of fused itself to this aluminum wheel. I forget the process, what it's called, but yep, it's pretty much seized onto the rim. I'm gonna have to hammer it off. The hammer did not work. The pry bar did. You can see how soaked this thing is everywhere. Can't believe it. The drum is just sliding off for the most part. Shocking. Houston, we got a problem. I just realized I am out of brake parts cleaner. And look at this nightmare. Oh man. I'm taking a ton of pictures of this setup because I have no idea how it goes together. It has been years since I've dealt with drum brakes, actually rebuilt them. Oh, this is not going to be fun. I'm going to need some needle nose pliers and a screwdriver, and I do not have one of these things. I guess I'll just use a socket or something. I got one side off. To get these off, I'm using one set of pliers to push in on this, on the spring, and then I use another set of pliers to spin the pin, and then it just slides off. I couldn't record it because I only have two hands, but you pull this spring off the bottom of this brake pad over here, and everything just pretty much falls apart. The real fun is getting it back together. I'm not going to attempt to lie and make myself sound smarter than I am. I cannot remember how the hell you change this out, so I broke out the new one. Apparently there's two bolts that come in through the bottom. That's the brake line. That appears to be a completely different size than this back here. I hope all this fits. Just two little 8mm bolts. I had to use a hand wrench to get in there because of the position of the brake line. I couldn't get a socket on it. Two little 8mm bolts, and this thing just fell out. Literally fell on me and my socks and my leg, and it's absolutely disgusting. So this was our problem. 30 minutes in, and I am coated in crap. My lovely wife is going down to get me brake parts cleaner and new brake fluid. I'm kind of in a holding pattern until then. Time for a little bit of dual wielding brake cleaning action. Just a little dirty. Hey, that spring is red. I did not know that. Hey, and these brake pads aren't black. Crazy. I meant to mention earlier, it's probably not a good sign when I take the brake line off and not a single drop of fluid comes out. Something has occurred to me. This should be a dual pot master cylinder. So if the only leak is in the rear brakes, why don't I have front brakes? Why did I lose all four brakes? Calling it now. While none of the other wheels are wet or appear to be leaking, kind of thinking maybe something blew in the master cylinder. That went on incredibly easily. Just two 8mm bolts in the back, then thread the brake line. Only took a couple of minutes. Now true hell begins. If I failed to mention it earlier, take a ton of pictures and or video, because I'm kind of on the struggle bus right now with where exactly some of these pieces go. I'm going to go back and watch my video and see if I can figure it out. I highly recommend bringing a friend with an extra set of hands to reset all these springs and all these clips. And like I said, lots and lots of pictures. Oh, and take all the adjustment out of this brake adjuster. It's a self adjuster, so as you use the brakes, it'll readjust itself back out. My wife is starting it up, and I'm gonna bleed the brakes until we get a brake pedal. And I was worried about this. This is bled and it is holding. The brake is holding, no longer spinning. The brakes did set themselves, but the pedal's still going all the way to the ground. So we've got a little bit of pedal, but it just doesn't feel right. I'm gonna have to put it on the ground and test drive it. I don't really have much choice. Test drive time with the world's least exciting car. Wait, what's going on with your idle? Why is there a check engine light on? What is going on? Just cruising down the street. They are brakes, but brakes are going all the way to the floor before they're catching. I don't like this. They're getting ever so slightly better as I drive. Maybe it's that rear brake self-adjusting, but I don't know why the fronts are having issue. I still don't know why the fronts ever had an issue with a rear brake leak. Self-adjusting drum brakes. Something tells me you're supposed to set them by going in reverse or something. Or did I make that up? Is that headcanon or is that real? We're in a parking lot, so we're going to just go in reverse, give it a little gas. Brakes are working, but they sure are going all the way down. All right, let's see if the parking brake will hold the car while it's in gear. 5. Parking brake down. Yes, it is holding. It's holding even against a little bit of gas, but I don't really want to do that very much. Yep, still holding. Parking brake is working well. Been test driving it enough. It feels competent enough that I'm going to go pick up my daughter in it and hope for the best. I wish I could have cleaned the back of the wheel a little better so I could tell whether or not there's new leaking or not, but everything's just kind of soaked and wet back there. Brake part is so soaked that brake parts cleaner didn't really do much. Been doing mostly neighborhood and back roads driving. I have to go get my daughter, so time to brave the highway and hope for the best. The brakes on this feel about like the 94 Mustang convertible brakes after we redid all of them, the booster and the master cylinder and the brake calipers. Not overly competent. They're doing the job, but I wouldn't say they were great. This does not bode well that these are 13-year newer brakes. Stopped a moment ago and checked the brake fluid. It was I don't know, a couple of tablespoons low. I'm hoping that's just from those rear brakes expanding since I adjusted them all the way in. So hopefully that's not going to be an issue. Far too much traffic today for me to do my usual 60 to 0 brake lockup to make sure everything's going to work. I'm just going to have to test these in normal traffic and not abuse the crap out of them like I'm used to. Allegedly down here in Mexico somewhere, I might have just kicked it up to 80 real quick and then hammered the brakes down to 60, and they did fine. Rolling through a parking lot, and we're going to need some suspension work. I think we have some bushings out, definitely some shocks and struts. Good God, I'm going 8 miles per hour and this thing feels like an iron-wheeled wagon. I put some miles on it and we're not down any brake fluid, so I guess everything's all right. And yes, that is brand new brake fluid, black and brown like that. Brand new out of the bottle. Anyway, guess we're not leaking anymore. Brake pedal really does not feel very good. Once we get moving, give it a little vacuum. It's holding the car in park with probably an inch of travel, so then it just goes all the way down super easy. I don't know, I guess they're working fine. Hold on, emergency brake test. All right, that went really well. After more miles and more abuse, we have the same amount of brake fluid, so I think we're good. All right, that's it. As Chris Jr. would say, good enough has the word good in it, so should be fine. This thing is 18 years old. I don't think it's ever had any maintenance. I haven't really done anything to it. It probably needs new rotors, new pads, new everything. The other side of the drum probably needs rebuilt, but sounds like a future Chris problem. Or even better, a future Chris Jr. problem. After all, if he wants to go somewhere with air conditioning and power steering and a stereo, he needs to upkeep this thing. I don't ever drive it. Anyway, that's it. I may or may not be back because I essentially work almost through the entire end of November, straight through, including Thanksgiving. So hopefully nothing else breaks because I don't have time to fix it. Have a great day.